My lonely prison wall, I heard a young girl calling. Michael, they are taking you away. For you stole Trevelyan's corn, so the young might see the morn. Now a prison ship lies waiting in the bay. Oh, lie the fields of Athenry, where forced we watch the small free birds fly. Our love was on the wing, we had dreams and songs to sing. It's so lonely round the fields of Athenry. By lonely prison wall, I heard a young man calling. Nothing matters, Mary, when you're free. Against the famine and the crown, I rebelled, they brought me down. Now you must raise our child with dignity. She watched the last star falling as the prison ship sailed out against the sky. Should she live and hope and pray for her love in Botany Bay? It's so lonely round the fields of Athenry. The fields of Athenry, where once we watched the small free birds fly. Our love was on the wing, we had dreams and songs to sing. It's so lonely round the fields of Athenry. Where once we watched the small free birds fly. Our love was on the wing, we had dreams and songs to sing.
tell you, Dad, here's the bottom line. You never told me how to live, or any of us, but you let us watch you do it. And for that, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
Here, here.
Now, I can talk.
Nobody.
I can whisper for the rest of the night. You know, David got a very bad stomach. Yeah, you know what happened.
They are beautiful. Stone crab is outrageous. Stevie and myself are lovers of stone crab, but it is, I think it's the ultimate.
You know what? It doesn't matter. I got it on tape.
Charlie, there's nothing that could embarrass me right now, unless you're strong.
There's David. He just flew in. He made it here to Nassau.
So that I can keep it at an angle, so I can fit. And we're going to do a little shot. I won't come on fast.
Hey, baby!
Good mommy.
Come on, Jaden.
Yeah.
Give a smile. You could have smiled.
Here, Sean, you want me to take one with you?
we're gonna have to make you his assistant or something.
I shall sleep in peace until
You forgot, is it? Oh, thank you.
You take care of that man, then.
You forgot about it. That's how much money.
What's your suit?
Get in, she's opening up the
I'm going to take my glasses off.
Mine's cleaner.
Oh, isn't that beautiful?
Oh, that's just the earrings. That is nice.
Isn't it beautiful? That's what I thought. Thank you, sweetheart.
He goes with earrings.
Yes, I didn't put my glasses on.
Okay, Susan, let Mom open one of those final ones over there. Let my mother open it.
Here comes the final. What are you going to take it off?
Give them all out.
Okay, who wants this to Mom and Dad?
Well, let Mom open it. She'll open it.
I mean, this one says to the kids.
Okay.
Yeah. No, let's find it open.
Let Shalene open it.
And this one says to us.
Wait,
Okay.
wait. This is from Sam. No, it's from Mom and Dad.
Who sent?
It's from Mom and Dad. Mom, play this game. It's the best game. Super Mario World. Mommy, it's from Mom.
Yeah, wait.
Play this game. It's the best game. No, not until they open up theirs.
Dad, Mom's opening up your present.
Yeah.
Let me die, Mommy. Stop it. You wrapped them good enough, Mom. Hey, Mom.
Are night ships.
Okay, what about them, Shane? These are what?
Oh, child. Look.
To us. The ships. Yes, the ships. Touch. What is
It says, welcome aboard. Don't get the stuff out of the tickets, Shane. Give me the tickets. You dropped everything out of the ticket.
Well, come on.
Well, ho, ho, ho.
Well, they're trying to get rid of us.
We're going with you, you idiots.
Charlie, you're going to sleep with us, you know. You know that? What? What's wrong with that, then? You don't want to sleep with Pal?
I do.
Oh, good. Give us a hug on camera then. Give us a hug. Did I buy you that present? What? What?
Okay, now Dad, you have to stay real still now. Making the film look like he disappeared.
What's that?
Makes it look like he disappeared. We'll try it again, Charlie.
What? Why did it 35,000 miles of canals and waterways in Europe. Well, anyway, talked with him. He said, Coca-Cola's done a feasibility study. If they've done one and it's going to say it's going to pay, it's going to pay.
We'll have the,
Now all you do is take it back and promote it.
yeah, we'll have the waterborne thing of Charlie's Casino.
What? No? Who's that? Oh my God. He's not a favourite person anymore. No, he's not a favourite. He's not a favourite.
What's this?
Charlie, did something go wrong here, boy? Something went wrong.
Let's see what's up now.
Here's Nance.
Mom, did you get me two glasses?
Quick, sit down, sit in my love.
Just two glasses. What's she doing?
He's the most useless prick I've ever seen. Christopher.
Negotiators have been close to agreement on security arrangements for Palestinians, including their own police. Now they want more security.
People all over the place.
I'm gonna go over there.
Let's go. No, it's really not one.
Call her, Charles, you can call her Daisy May now, she said.
Yeah, because it's mine now. You should have keys for every single
I need a drink so bad. I better focus.
Well, I've got to wait and get some ice.
We'll go upstairs in a minute.
I'm not ready yet, Charles. I've got to put me down.
Yes, if your friends could see you now. Kathy Lee is up here on the bridge singing and dancing. And you'll be singing and dancing and having a great time.
He's a liar.
The best way to find out when and where these activities and entertainment take place is to check your Carnival Capers. The Carnival Caper paper is your daily activity schedule. They'll be slipped under your door each night for the next day, so you can plan your day. Here's a quick rundown of what's happening tonight.
This is nice, this vanity,
Board
huh?
activities, entertainment, and excitement. We offer a complimentary rum swizzle party. That's at 7:30 up on the promenade. Of course, you should be 18 years of age or older.
She's better to eat
It's a good time to
when
meet
you
and
get
make
into
new
all
friends.
that.
Airport
You eat
Fantasy,
late.
we don't believe
You
in
miss it.
strangers on board, just friends who haven't met yet. At 8 o'clock in the Universe Lounge, you can enjoy the great big band dance sounds of Steve Faulkner and the Universe Orchestra. That plays from Port Miami.
You wouldn't feel as much as a
Our
small
speed
one.
is approximately 3 knots at the moment. Of course, we will increase when we pass the breakwater. We're heading for the sun and fun of the Bahamas. We're heading for the vacation of your lives if your friends could see you now.
Oh, wow, you're loud. Shoes were too tight. Well, that looks good. Shorts, I'm sure you can make these.
Charlie, come here.
Wow,
Don't touch my hair, okay?
I'm not touching your hair. I love this outfit. It's
So, I can't see him because you're in the way. Oh, can he move up in the middle?
Charlie, come on.
So the only evidence of its existence.
Shani.
Hey, this is the only plug in here.
Can't plug that.
I can't plug it in.
There he is, Mom. What?
Well, he didn't like it if you... Yeah. And a big kid over there.
Charles, look here, son. Not that you want Ellie.
What?
Ellie.
What?
Stand up.
1 o'clock he's coming back to me right there.
Don't go so fast, Shawnee, because it'll be hard to watch.
Yeah, go move it real slow. Move the camera slow. Don't look at the ground.
Here. I'm gonna help you. Nice stuff. Real slow. Okay, I'm gonna.
There's something about your name that makes it hard to see just how you take advantage of a working girl like me. Well, I've seen you set 'em up, and I've seen you take 'em down. Our love is legal tender, and you'll kind of pass around. Don't want your bed of roses, don't want no handful of thorns. Don't wanna be your living doll, don't wanna be no woman's scorn. Well, I don't wanna watch you turn the page when I tear to closes. Oh, I'm not gonna lay me down on your bed of roses.
so fast with the camera, Charlie. It just works.
He's here.
Come on, Charlie. No, focus itself, honey.
That's what I said.
Come on, let's go.
Oh, you couldn't see us?
No, I can see you.
Shalene. Shalene. Smile. Oh.
Oh, you should have seen that.
Move it slow.
Jane, smile. Why?
Linda works the diamond, pouring coffee, steaming hot. She said I wouldn't have come in today, but I need her. No, I can't fool anyone, 'cause dark horses turn me on. But make her cover a black and Jimmy works construction now. Yesterday, he went down to the liquor store, and I knew he felt no. I came in an hour late, then I let it go. Well, it hit the roof, hit the wall, and then it was my turn to say, man's home is his castle. It always has been, and so it remains. But he holds the keys in a fist of rage. His home is his castle, and mine. Someone must have heard the noise, then they dialed 911. And the cop who showed up at the door asked, is there a problem, son? And Jimmy smiled and said, no, sir, just a little fright, that's all. Hey, you know how it gets sometimes when you're laying down the law. I pulled out my suitcase, I started packing up my clothes. And Jimmy said, now Linda, where do you expect to go with baby? I told him I have tried, but not an ounce of blood survives. Then he grabbed my wrist and shouted, you're not leaving here alive. But Jim don't never easily, so I turned the bright. He will never see the way he treats me as a crime. Somebody ought to lock him up, but I'm the one who's done the time. He says a man's home is his castle. It always has been, and so it remains. He holds the keys in a fist of rage.
nobody here. Didn't take any notes.
Universal Studios Florida is open now. Place other where you can see live.
So no matter what, you know, nothing could have stopped him. He hit black ice. He was in a blazer there. He was in a blazer there. He should have been killed. And it rolled over the staircase. I thought it looks just like the Titanic. So I made him in the morning. Couldn't stay.
But this piano device is...
No. Well, most of it's sort of glassed in, so you're okay. But if you go up, like they have the pool area, it's all glassed in. But then there's a walkway.
The pool area isn't glassed in.
What's the one that
Yes,
used to film the upload on?
Morning on the news, and you guys obviously were on your way to the boat. They were talking this Royal something travel agency. All of these people from Virginia and different parts of the country had come down, and they were supposed to go on this cruise, a 4 or 5 day cruise to the islands. And the travel agent never turned the money over to the ship. So all of these people, and the news company, is that on? The news company was saying, you know, well, we'll try and get in touch with them. Well, they were getting this recording. We won't be back until after the holidays. So I'm seeing you guys standing here with your tickets in hand and can't get on the boat because the travel agent didn't turn the money over.
And it worked out to, it was like $200 a person. It was like $400 per couple to go to the Bahamas.
This is $355.
Yeah, well, even if you left standing there, there's 250 other people. From Canada.
Yeah.
Well, they had people come down from New York, people that saved up. They booked it a year in advance.
Get away.
Yeah, and the travel agent just went off with the money. Here are all these people turning down.
My favourite store. Isn't that lovely? Oh, thank you, Susan. It's lovely. Thank you. They liked my blouse, and I said, yeah, you with Norma when he bought it. Thank you, Charles.
Oh, you're busy.
I know.
That's beautiful.
Now, whose do you like better, my gift or Susan's?
Oh, stop it, Norman.
I like it both the same.
Well, it's a pretty easy choice, Norman.
Actually, I didn't expect anything.
Balaam are up. Those areas.
Thank you.
It's unbelievable. Yeah. You've been in the tube lately.
No.
You feel like it's worse than New York City. Well, I was all of that. You always need to wash your hair. City. Well, I was all of that. You always need to wash your hair.
You did?
But it's worse than New York City. Yeah. You know, it's worse than New York City. It's disgusting.
You like some crack?
It's unbelievable. I mean, the dripping from the ceilings.
Oh, is that bad?
Oh, it's disgusting. I mean, all the planters. I mean, it's just awful.
No,
I said to my kids, this can't be real. I mean, where? People don't. This looks like it's something out of the 18th century. These little round holes you're crawling through, you know. With all because we're doing lots of it now, but it's just gotten so deteriorated because I spent no money on it, right?
Yeah.
So then, now I spent.
Card from Ornea from Norwich.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Goat cheese, is that what that is?
I don't know.
They all got one and I got one.
A lot of stuff there.
Oh, that's just cheese.
Now the ham is here, Dale. I'm just going to cook the meat pies after. Hello.
What you're doing is cooking those shrimp and eating them today. Not like last time, Susie.
Just bend into that oven again, Dale.
You're not going to be fucking around with that thing all night, are you? I just miss my wife right now, that's all. Miss my wife immensely. A little depressed right now.
Where'd your mum go?
I don't know, I think she's upstairs. Rosie Andy arriving.
Okay. How do you, be right there.
Hi, guys.
Be right there.
Did you put this on back?
They probably think that you're a Yank first.
Yeah, sure, they always do.
Yeah, I really am. I still know where did he come from. Like, your family's one of the
Gracias, Carlos.
What did you call him, Carlos?
You can't, unless you know.
Charles,
Spanish. Is that Whalen? Is that?
Rennie made these.
But you said Whalen, right?
They're better than them.
I like them.
Where'd you buy them? M&M?
I didn't buy them, she got them.
Well, they're crunchy.
Yeah.
Well, try one.
No, I don't know.
This country right now should be thinking about immigrating Russians.
Browns are very well.
Because they like them in
Is that new?
used to cold
Yeah. You know that
Someplace where nobody wants to go there, but they'll go there. They'll figure out how to grow something or do something.
But I tell you what, he knows how to look after us too.
Importing
He is
Indians.
and his brother.
For our welfare. We need more people to produce.
I'd like you to see him.
I love Canada. It's a beautiful place. And it's great.
I'll tell you what, you get
You understand this. Territory is huge. And there's only a small population here. Social programs were great. Once you open up the floodgates, you let in immigrants that instead of becoming producers, the European was a producer. And even the United States found that out once the European immigration stopped and the garbage started coming from elsewhere.
We're still here, Trevor.
Get me, Charles. Stay there.
Prostitution.
I do feel that you slept
I mean, they just don't have the same
There'll be more people
thing
coming
to
in.
build on. I mean, the Europeans got to look at it.
He's gotta go over and see Jim.
No, he's
They
gotta
heard
go.
that. See?
No.
You gotta go over and see.
Yeah. You gotta have a beer.
Who are we babysitting? I always want to say
Trina.
Trina.
Carol.
Karina's babysitting. Don't take Harry's picture.
Here, we got some good stuff over here.
Just wanted to know what time, yeah.
Where's Harry been before you got here?
Right here.
Nowhere.
Right here.
Before that, where you'd been though?
Nowhere.
Terrible
We
stuff.
left the house, we went in, signed in, and came here.
Carlos.
Baby, tell me where'd you ever learn to fight without saying a word?
Let's get a close up of that sweater.
Walks back into my life like it's all gonna be alright.
They're so big we don't only get one in
Don't
at a
you
time.
know how much it hurts when we don't talk, when we don't touch, when it doesn't feel like we're even in love? It matters to me when I don't know what to say, don't know what to do, don't know if it really even matters to you. How can I make you see it matters to me?
Did I get nervous a couple years ago when he said, flashbacks?
Maybe I still don't
Said it was
understand
Father Easton.
the distance between a woman and a man.
No, that's what
Tell me how far it is, how you can love like this, 'cause I'm not sure I can. When we don't talk, when we don't touch, when it doesn't feel like we're even in love, it matters to me.
friends.
Don't believe him.
You don't
Just know what he's saying.
I always
Had
like
too
Eric.
many.
Eric's a real nice guy.
Anyway, I'll see you guys later.
Cheers, Sean.
Genuine. Happy New Year.
Genuine? And a very, very happy Easter.
Yeah. I might see you before that.
I think 300 yards from 12,000 cubic.
Is there Zoom on this? Charlie.
Bye, Charlie.
Nancy might take Eric home.
I've had it on you the whole time I'm staying here.
All right, see you.
Have a good night. He's gonna get a lot of hate. He needed some ear, he's gone.
Harry was a nuisance.
He was,
It was that Robocop you had with you.
He's always like that.
He's just on this guy.
I'm just joking. I love him to death. Love him to death. Always did, always will.
There he goes.
You got a big Will?
Take care. This guy was like, he was one of the stern.
Bye-bye.
In a few good minutes? Don't I feel like a horse's ass?
Good that. Well, they used to be the Minister National Defence at one time, yeah?
No, that's, you're thinking of Nielsen. No, Jack Nicholson.
Oh, yeah. Can't stand the bastard.
Oh, I love Jack. You don't like Jack Nicholson?
No, I don't.
Oh, I love him. I just love Jack Nicholson.
Reminds me of Harry.
I told Gene tonight, I said, if they made, yes I did, if they made, it's great, if they made Jack Nicholson president of the States, he'd get rid of the deficit in about a week. He'd say, give me an Arab and a deck of cards. Okay, man, Colonel's wife.
Which color?
You don't like it?
Oh yeah, you got that
I love
missionary jar.
I think he's one of the best. No, he's like, oh, it's great. Him and Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, Dustin Hoffman.
Dustin Hoffman, yes, that's Do you know who I flew home with? Was this a talkie too?
Careful what you say. I've got a lot of good conversations on this.
Read lips?
No comments
Well, I'll
here.
tell you what, I don't like cameras. I'm leaving.
Want to see our best
Come on, David.
You want that one?
big tits?
Loves being eyewitness. You know, you look like that news broadcaster on that American channel, Sue. Doesn't she look like that American news broadcaster? That's
What's
in
that,
Calgary.
David?
She looks just like her.
Oh,
I don't
From
know.
Syracuse.
A blonde one? Is she a blonde one?
Yeah, it's a Calgary station though.
See, we get Rochester all the time.
Take a picture of Tracy's ass.
If she's from Syracuse.
Go on. She should have been a reporter.
You should have been. Then you wouldn't have 5 kids running around the house.
Yeah, right, Joyce.
Everybody else.
What's the latest bizarre joke I got there that was real funny?
Under 17. Why 17 months? Went to the movies.
Sue, why did the 17 blondes go to the movie? Because they couldn't get in under 17.
Shut up, Jill.
You read the one about the police?
Susan, where'd you ever have your best meal?
The police? That's the whole theory of the police.
He loves wine and food.
No, I got a movie in my...
He'll tell you, he'll taste the wine, and he'll tell you right away what year it was. I used to go to lunch. You still don't know.
I said, Dad got you a fridge. Oh, what about the folks? I'm not talking about
Maybe somebody could
it might not go.
He's left another one to
He's here for the long haul now.
I'll see.
Is he measuring?
Yeah, he measured. He went there yesterday. He was supposed to call me back today. In fact, I'll make sure. I'll make sure I know. I have to roll that sucker.
Have a good Singers. We'll see you next year.
Oh, you're not going to be there? Oh, are you okay? Is that me?
I'll come into the patrol car and bring a big
Terry, why don't you just go to the bathroom?
Mr. Flynn said we go upstairs.
How close is that?
Sorry.
That's awful generous of you. Kill me in a Starbucks.
Just don't use the bed I'm sleeping in. Awful generous of you. When they see the movie comes in the morning.
Oh, that's Susan. Angela's Davis. No?
Yeah, we'll kick them out.
Every time I do that, Charles gets in the way.
Charles, what are you trying to do? That's it. Jeannie says, yeah. Angie's here, Terry says, yeah, we'll kick them out. You don't really want to go home.
We're going.
I love that zoom button.
Or is that what the
Judy wants to get service.
You can do that tomorrow. How long is that?
But you won't go.
Rum and Pepsi.
Then ask.
I
Don't
wanted to make sure it
start
was here.
looking in the fridge.
Grumpy old fart behind the bar there.
It is, isn't it?
No, thank you very much, Terry. I appreciate that comment. I'm not so sure right about now.
Start laughing like that.
Your feet on the floor.
Give me a kick.
All right. I got your dead shoes. That's what
Hi, Buzz, Beanie. Yeah?
Carly,
We spent,
are you staying at
no,
the
I
park?
spent Christmas Day at
I
my
thought you were kicked out of there. You didn't recognize
I
me.
hid under the desk. Where's the desk?
They're movie 7, eh?
My sister told me what they wanted. That's what she wanted.
Playing at the park, movie 7.
You know what?
David, Dale, could you move? Dale! I can't get her tits.
Who's in the gym? What happened?
Tracy,
He's done nothing but film me.
could you bend over for a second?
No.
Feel. Just go with it, Tracy. Tracy, just touch your toes for a second.
Get Susan to. She'll do it. Sue, they want you to.
Girls want you to touch your toes.
I told her she should the other
All right, just put your finger in your mouth like that again, Tracy.
He's been filming me constantly.
Sing happy birthday one more time, please.
Happy birthday to you. This is a replay. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Rainy. Happy birthday to you.
I camcorded when you were there.
Oh, yeah.
It's too dark in here. Yep, you gotta turn the lights on now.
That ought to screw it up.
Gotta get some
You
flame.
ever smell those candles, eh?
Can I get another really cold one?
Hi, Fergie.
Hi, Susie.
Hi,
Merry
Peter.
Christmas, 95.
Happy New Year.
This is Karen.
Hi,
That's
Karen.
my little sister, Ann. She's got nice hair. And that's Norman.
Hey now. I'm the
And this
chauffeur.
is a birthday lady. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Rainy. Happy birthday to you.
Everybody on your toes.
Where's that?
Put his head, don't say it.
Down in the cross. Over.
I'm gonna shove that right up his ass one of these days.
We're not in a real good mood. I never do anything. No. Okay, wait back. Nothing.
You never did. I did the whole
You never did.
Oh, that's stereo sound too.
No, you went to Mickey's.
Right.
Well, Krita helped me.
So, your turn tonight. Let's go for it.
Thank you. Aren't you like that?
Let's go, girl.
Back to the
Here I go.
You should come to my house. I've got a little reading your statistics.
Let's go, girl.
So just
It's a
a
nice
second,
house.
I was gonna go Happy New Year. I'm not sure. What are you drinking? The beer or the wine?
I'll tell you what. Just
Oh, okay.
remember that. Can I make a photocopy of that?
Susan, put off your gloves.
I'm gonna post it on our bedroom wall.
Here's to 94.
Yeah. Here's the 94 girls.
Here's to 94. There's one
Better
thing.
sex.
fella.
Well, is that being by yourself or?
I'm myself.
Well, I did a lot.
We're having a private conversation,
Do
Charlie.
you mind having the selfie?
Charles, got rid of it.
We just got rid of it. Got rid of it.
Well, I think that article was written by someone in Quebec, myself.
But we gotta go to bed early tonight, Andre, so we'll be up and ready for the happy new year tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
It's on standby.
Is he filming?
No, it's on standby. When it blinks like that, it's standby, it's gotta go on full.
There you go.
What's going now?
Get a picture of me smoking. That's what he's waiting for, here. Why don't you turn on since we're like that? Or maybe he doesn't.
Yeah.
Try.
Yeah.
Where are they, Mom?
Yeah.
What time are you going to?
Yeah, I just what do you want today? Who cares? I told you now. Who cares?
I'll sing a game tomorrow. I'm happiness and foolish, though it may be to me. That's everything. The mere idea of you. The loving here for you. You'll never know how slow the moments go till I'm near to you. I'm saying slow to me. That's everything.
She had the feathers in her hair.
Yeah.
Yes, but she got hurt.
How much is that?
Her leg.
He said, I said, by the way, that's boating business. He's talking about Europe. I said, Mike, that's the guy to talk to, because he's got a boat over there and he knows all about Europe.
You got master.
You are? And also, he said there's 35,000 miles of canals and waterways in Europe. Well, anyway, we talked with him. He said, Coca-Cola's done a feasibility study. If they've done one and it's going to say it's going to pay, it's going to pay.
We'll have the,
Now all you do is take it back and promote it.
yeah, we'll have the waterborne thing of Charlie's Casino.
What? No? Who's that? Oh my God. He's not favourite person anymore. No, he's not favourite. He's not a favourite.
What's this?
Charlie, did something go wrong here, boy?
What?
Something went wrong.
Let's see what's up now.
Here's Nance.
Mom, did you get me 2 glasses?
Quick, sit down, sit in my office.
2 glasses. What's she doing?
He's the most useless prick I've ever seen. Christopher.
Negotiators have been close to agreement on security arrangements for Palestinians, including their own police. Now they want more security.
Don't drip it all over the place now, please. I just washed them.
It was almost too bad.
Yeah, but I didn't put it. Where used to use there's a big napkin. No, it's not.
It's stressed, but so far the slayings appear to be.
Get lost!
What are you doing, sir?
You're still eating.
Why are you putting that stuff on? You're not going anywhere.
I thought you guys were going out tonight.
What? Oh, you are?
Can I put extra cheese slices on it?
You
Get
are?
lost, Dad. I don't know.
Just in case I want to be ready.
Congressional leaders had urged the president to prevent the talks from collapsing.
Pretty good at this.
I think I know you.
I said that.
What's that?
I think I know what
There's Dr. McGee.
What?
The Treasurer McGee. Mr. McGee.
Look at what we have.
head.
Here, go back. Come and sing this, Shane. Come on. Get down, Shane.
Okay. Raindrops keep falling on my head, just like a guy whose feet are too big for his bed. Nothing seems to fit. Those raindrops are falling on my head, they keep falling. Oh, I just did me some talking to the sun, and I said I didn't like the way he got things done, sleeping on the job. Those raindrops are falling on my head, they keep falling. But there's one thing I know, the blues they send to meet me won't defeat me. It won't be long till happiness steps up to greet me. Come on, sing up.
Shane, let Nan hold it now.
Raindrops keep falling on my head, but that doesn't mean my eyes will soon be turning red. Crying's not for me, 'cause I'm never gonna stop the rain by complaining, because I'm free. Nothing's worrying me.
I'm not doing any more.
Won't be long till happiness steps up to greet me. Raindrops keep falling on my head, but that doesn't mean my eyes will soon be turning red. Crying's not for me, 'cause I'm never gonna stop the rain by complaining, because I'm free. Nothing's worrying me.
We always take my car, 'cause it's never been me, and we'll never listen to the battles we make. Steady, 'cause it wouldn't be right to leave this town on a Saturday night. Get around, get around, get around, get around.
had handycams on a nice show tonight. You know the real fun about that story, Eleanor? Eleanor, do you know the funniest thing about that story? But that's right. That's right. That was the last time we did it. Last time we did it. I could never remember. In the woods, 68. Okay, guys, you know, it's like a wedding now. Speak now or forever hold your peace. I don't mean that little wooden thing on that. Oh, here we go, here we go. Some of you may know her. This is your, oh, sorry, Jackie Flynn.
Very good, Charles. I'm real proud of you. You haven't gotten senile after all. I'm just here on behalf of the sister-in-laws, because it's always all the guys who get center stage. It's always Charles, Milton, or Dale. Well, this time this party was put on by the girls. Or David. There's 5 of them. Am I supposed to remember each and every one of them? This is why I hate getting up here.
For those needles you would have.
It seems I'm now a drug addict too. I shoot myself up twice a day. But I'm legal. I have a letter from the doctor for when I go over the border there. From Quebec too. Anyways, on behalf of all the sister-in-laws, and if they'd like to come up here, please.
Oh, yeah.
Susan, Debbie, Carly, Tracy.
Come on, guys. Come on.
And Mom.
Come on, all
Come on, Reedy.
Come on. Angelina,
And she wonders why we call her Rose. Come on, dear. No, just a minute. We're missing someone. 1, 2, 3, 4. There she is. On behalf of all of us, we would like to say, happy birthday, Dad.
Oh! Norman, just come on camera.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Charlie. Happy birthday to you.
What a wonderful note to end it all on. I'd just like to say one thing. I want to, oh wait, we got one more, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you're $1 late and a day short. Here we are, Jim Bateman and Mr. Brody Brown, how lovely. Here we go, Coda.
I just want to say one little thing. When Debbie told me it was Charlie's birthday, I was very surprised. She said it's his 70th birthday. I said, God, he's got to be older than that. When we were in Europe together, we always celebrated 3 times a year his birthday.
I forgot about
I didn't think anybody remembered, but Dave reminded me. He wasn't old enough, so somebody's been telling stories out of school.
Right here, Jim.
Are you telling us he's 210 years of age?
Oh, at least. As a matter of fact, Friday afternoons were the favorite birthday party time. Anyway, happy birthday, Charlie.
I've probably known Charlie less time than anybody, but I hadn't known Charlie for a year when he came to my birthday and got up and spoke some kind words, and so I think I should, and I've got to tell you a story about, I'm sorry it's about a skunk, Charlie, but it had nothing to do with you. But Mrs. Skunk one day was in the house, and she had 2 little baby skunks, and the names were In and Out, and she sent them out to play. And after a while, Out came back in, and the mother said, well, where's In? And Out said, In's out. And she said, well, would you go out and bring In? So anyway, he went out and went out, and when he came back in without in. And the mother said, "Damn it, I'll have to go and get in." And so she went out and brought it in, and out said, "Well, how did you find him?" He said, "Instinct." And when I first met Charlie, my instinct was that he was one hell of a guy, and I haven't been wrong. I've known him for only about 18 months, and he got up and said, wished me a happy birthday, and Charlie, I wish you a happy birthday in turn.
Thank you, Peter. Anybody at all. Anybody. That's it. And I don't want to leave anybody out, so if you... Anybody, that's it. Yeah, I remember those. I just got to tell you about Jim's afternoon birthday parties. I remember phoning the office one afternoon when Jim and my father worked together in Europe. And it was like February 27th or something. And I said, "Can I talk to my father?" He said, "Your father, we're all here." And I got all this noise in the background. I said, "What's going on?" He said, "It's your father's birthday." I said, "His birthday's in October." And I heard him say it, and all I heard from across the room was, "You prick!" Anyway, tonight really is his 70th birthday. Seems like 210 to some of us. And I think we can all say together, Charlie, you are fucking successful! Thank you. Here we go.
Well, thank you, folks.
Please speak English.
Please, you don't shut up, you're leaving.
Please speak English.
If I did, you wouldn't understand, so I won't bother.
Is this going to be a long story?
It's going to be the normal Flint stuff, quick, sharp, and get it over with.
He's been complaining about that for years.
Firstly, we'll have some discipline and attention. Secondly, I would like to say, in all earnesty and honesty, I came to this country very, very close to 40 years ago. I've done 3 things right in my life. I married my lovely wife. I had 6 lovely children. Who produced for me 14 gorgeous and lovely grandchildren, who sometimes produced to me. I came to Canada, which I consider one of the best moves I've ever made in my life, and that's why I'm trying to teach all you people how to speak English. I have amongst you tonight, to the friendly side, a friend of mine has just taken my picture. 40 years ago we almost met and served together. In those days he was a little different to what he is today, and so was I might add. We were a little hot and heavy, and we drank more than we drink today. And we had a good time. As I go through all of us, I look around, there's very, very few I haven't been with or worked with or associated with, whether you're heavy drinkers or not, over my service career. I've enjoyed every moment of being with you all. I wouldn't feel as emotional as I do. I'd love to see you. I'm glad you're here. And it's truly beautiful to say you can, after 40 years, say you have so many true and valued friends. I feel proud. I feel happy.
I feel successful!
No. My bank account makes...
Nice.
Go away.
Here, Chris.
You want to babysit Samson? Oh, get Samson to meet us.
CJ, bring Oscar down here.
CJ, come here with Oscar.
Where's Oscar? Show him to Oscar. Don't. Show him to Oscar.
Don't be holding on to him. What?
Yeah, well, no, I'm worried that Oscar's gonna bite him. So.
She gets scared.
Oscar. Oscar.
What's he having to get them down?
As long as Oscar doesn't bite him.
No, Oscar won't bite him. Look at him. He's a little friend.
Oh no.
Has anybody got a key to this room? I don't have a key to this room, Charles.
Dad, if you don't want
Dad. What? Can I have the key, please? Oh, yes. Forget it.
No, it's not.
Does it say calling it on?
Of course it does. Rare GMB.
It's video
I'm calling
time.
you.
Come on, Oski, give us one of your performances. Put those silly shoes back on him. Where's your silly shoes? Why do they do that to you? I hear they do all sorts of weird. People are going to look at this video and they'd be counting some a lot of that red wine. She's talking to the dog now.
Why is Oski there? Come on, Oski. Here, Sue. You can get a chance to kiss his arse again.
That was so gross. Oh, jeez. I'm trying to, this is the same color as the
Oski,
floor.
you want a cookie?
Well, don't give him any cookies.
No, a small one of his cookies.
Oh, nice.
Why, you can't give him one of ours? He couldn't have one of our cookies?
A regular cookie?
Yeah. Doesn't he like them?
Well, I wouldn't give him any. That's a lot of sugar and stuff. Dogs get a bunch of sugar.
I'll tell you what, he ate and it doesn't bother him, does it?
He's lost a bit of it now. If that had been Izzy, we would have been coming home to a mess.
Yeah, it doesn't bother him at all. Oh, he did go number 2 twice.
Izzy, before he gets in the house, has a great big dump right by the door. I mean, people would have said, David,
Was that
covers it up.
I was hoping Charles would step in it.
And then gets mad at you because you want to clean it up. Yeah, so.
No, because I wanted Charles to step in. Don't you
No,
hate
your
it when
zipper's
people
down.
do this? And then the next day they show it to you, or 2 days or 3 days later. Where's she?
He's got
You know, you remind me of the doughboy. If I poke your stomach, go You know what? I'm gonna help you make
Get
Boy,
lost!
drop down, give me 30, sit up right now. Let's go. Count 'em in. Let me see that belly roll. Cubby. Once.
Look at this dog.
He's saying
Green. Look at the dog. Come and videotape him.
He's singing with David.
Green.
He'll bark at anything now.
It's the way you say it.
Izzy! He's mental. He's completely mental.
Yeah, because it's drier.
Saying cuts you have, baby?
It's New Year, Shane, almost.
Okay. Look at you.
What's the date, Shane?
Shane, what's the date? Shane.
What? Turn around, Dad's on the camera.
What's the date? Shane?
He's got the New Year's hat on, I don't know.
It's time for bed now.
Get lost.
Tell you one thing I want tonight from Kerr.
Put some cream on your elbows, honey. They're gonna dry.
Are they?
Yes, I know some white yesterday. I brought that.
Charles, have you ever left a battery in your car overnight?
What?
Hey?
Yeah?
A phone battery?
Yeah.
Your phone?
Lots of times.
No, but I brought that one.
And does it go, when it's cold out, does it go dead?
Essential.
No.
It's good cream.
Yeah.
Well, mine
Not as
does.
nice as the other, but it's... Takes the dryness away.
Come on then, Carr.
Where are we coming on to?
Well, you wanted to go stop at that place. I don't have time to, you know, I've got
Is Davey staying here?
responsibilities. Does Davey stay in here? No, I don't think so. Is he?
He wants to. Well, he wants to go skiing. It's too cold today to go skiing, but tomorrow might be a nice day.
Is it cold out today? That's nice.
Husky's shivering. He really did get a bite on his ear, right?
Did he? Burn mark.
No, I'd be surprised to do Izzy drew blood. Eh? It's not like him, is it?
He doesn't usually have to deal with a homosexual dog, does he? A bit of competition there, too.
Yeah. Husky really likes you, David.
You're not queer, are you, Husky?
Why? Because he likes you. Yeah, he's not queer.
Look at his eyes, though, eh?
He's got sad eyes.
You look at him and you feel sorry for him. You notice that? When you look at him, you feel sorry for him?
He wants a little cuddle.
He wants you to cuddle with him, David.
Come on. Look at Izzy.
Jack, hold it down, Schlick.
Danny boy, the pipes are calling from glen to glen and down the mountainside. The summer's gone and all the flowers are dying. 'Tis you, must go, and I must bide. But come ye back when summer's in the meadow, or when the valley's hushed and white with snow. 'Tis I'll be here in sunshine or in shadow. Danny boy, oh Danny boy. you come, and all the flowers are dying, and I am dead as
Thank you.
Prison wall, I've heard a young girl call. Michael, they have taken you away, for you stole Trevelyan's heart, so your young might see the world. Now prison ship lies waiting in the bay. Oh, I need you of Athens rise, where once we watched the small free birds fly. Our love on the wing, we had dreams and songs to sing. It's so lonely round the beach of Athens by lonely prison wall. I've heard a young man call. Nothing matters, Mary, when you're against the famine and the drought. I rebelled, they ran down. Now you must raise our child with dignity. Though I heed of Athens rise, where once we watched the small free birds fly. Our love longing, we've had dreams and songs to sing. It's so lonely round the feet of Athens by a lonely harbor wall. she watched the last star fall as the prison ship sailed out against the sky, and she'll wait and hope and pray for her love in body day. It's so lonely round the fields, flat and dry. Oh, of aspen ride, where once we watched the small free birds fly. Our love was on the wing, we had dreams and songs to sing. It's so lonely round the fields of aspen the pipes are calling from glen to glen and down the mountainside. The summer's gone and all the roses falling. 'Tis you, must go and I must die. God come ye back when summer's in the meadow, and when the valley's white with snow. Yes, I'll be in sunshine or in shadow. Oh, Danny boy, oh, Danny boy, I love you so. And when ye come, and all the flowers are flying, and if I'm dead, as dead I am, you'll come and find the place where I am lying, and kneel and say, I'm nodding there for me, and I shall feel though darkness above me, and o'er my grave will warmer, sweeter be, and you will bend and tell me that you love me, and I shall sleep in peace until you come again. Oh, Danny boy, the pipes are calling from glen to glen and down the mountainside. The summer's gone and all the roses falling. 'Tis you, and summer in the meadow, and when the valley and white snow, yes, I'll be sunshine or in shadow. Oh, Danny boy, oh, Danny boy, I love you.
Thank you. Hope there's lots of Kleenex here. No, two things about those songs that are just unbelievable in our lives. The first one, The Fields of Athenry. My father's from a place in Ireland called Galway. Beside Galway is Athenry. That's really where his grandmother came from. That's a song that's really near and dear to our hearts. Because that's a little boy who was taken from his home for stealing corn to feed his children, sent to Australia, and never saw his wife and children again. It's a very famous Irish song, and it's very hard not to sing the chorus with him up here when he's doing it. The second one, Danny Boy. When I was a little guy in Edgar, Ontario, I had big dreams. My dad had small wallets. But I wanted a tape recorder for Christmas that year. And I knew he couldn't afford it, but I wasn't letting him off the hook. And I'd sit and stare at this tape recorder in the Kmart store. And finally, he bought it for me. I always got what I wanted from him. We all did. And I took it home that year, and my grandmother had a party at 24 Foxborn. And she sang Danny Boy. And they brought back that tape, and they played it in that tape recorder. And if there wasn't a dry eye here tonight, my grandmother can't sing. It runs in our family. There wasn't a dry eye in our house when we heard her sing Danny Boy, with all the music and noise in the background, a little crackly tape recorder. So those songs are very near and dear to our family, you heard there. Thanks for taking the time to listen, and thanks for being here. You know, my father, I got to tell you something, I don't know how everybody's feeling. How's everybody feeling today, okay? It's a day for celebration. And I hope you're really feeling good, because we're going to celebrate my father's life. He was a man of love and a life of life. And we're going to celebrate that today, no matter what else happens. And I don't know how you're feeling, but I travel a lot to get here. British Airways lost my luggage, so this tie is paid for by British Airways, the shirt and the pants by British Airways. And I'm running on fumes. Thank you, yeah. I'm going to tell you the story. I'm running on fumes. But I couldn't sleep last night. I'm thinking, I got no clothes. I got to go up there in jeans and a sweatshirt. They're going to be smelly. People are going to walk out. Can you take a shower before you came? So what happened is I laid awake at 3 o'clock. I couldn't sleep. Thinking, what? All of a sudden, an epiphany came to me. I heard my father's voice. Fiddle, son, fiddle! I thought, you're right, Dad. Every challenge is an opportunity. I'll claim this from British Airways. I'll claim it on my house insurance. Even from American Express. I went fast asleep, woke up this morning and bought the clothes. Thanks, Dad. Now, I want to read a poem that's, again, near to me from when I think of my father. Just bear with me. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you. If you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too. If you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about but don't deal in lies, or being hated but don't give in to hating, and yet don't look too good nor talk too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap of fools, or watch the things you have in your life too broken,
and stoop and build them up again with worn-out tools. If you can make one heap of all your winnings and rest him on one turn of the pitch of dice, and lose and start again at your beginnings and never breathe a word about your loss. If you can force your heart, nerve, and sinew to serve your turn long after they were gone, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings and not lose that common touch. If neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but none too much. If you can fill the ungiven minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours and the earth and everything that's in it, and which is more, you'll be a man like Charles Flynn, my son. That's my father. He saw hatred and ignored it. He saw the best in everybody and everything. He fought, he came to Canada, 3 kids and nothing in his pocket. And he built a life here for himself and his family. And he was a man. My father was a man amongst men. You know, coming here today, I'd be as content to sit in the back there and just have my thoughts of my father to myself. And I would feel very good about it. And note, I said my father. Don't get upset. Before you jump up, let me explain. He was our father. He was our grandfather. He was our great-grandfather. He was our friend. He was your client. He was your hero. And at Dino's, he was your dirty old man. However, when we sit here, each of us thinks of him as mine. So, I'm going to give you that moment. Because my father was about, love you, son! Love you, daughter! Love you, Sil! For those who don't talk Charlie Flynn, that's son-in-law. Love you, Dill! Daughter-in-law. It's very creative. Love you, friend! Love you, mate! He loved everybody. And so I'm going to give you a chance now, everybody here, to have him to yourself. So, on the count of 3, you can all tell me, I love you, my dad, I love you, my friend, I love you, my pa, I love you, my uncle, I love you, my cousin. So just join me. When I say 3, 1, 2, 3, please everybody say, love you, and you fill in my whatever. Love you. 1, 2, 3.
Love you, my pa.
Thank you. Now, he's going to be ours. We're going to share him, all of us, and all his love for all of us. He was our friend and our neighbor, our uncle, our grandfather, and most of all, he used to say, love you, Reen! Love your boots! That's a beautiful smile, Mom. Sorry? He stood for truth, honesty, and straightforward talk, and acceptance. We'll not deny him that right here today. He was not a religious man, but he believed in God and the moral high ground. So take a moment, each of you, with your God, if you don't have one, with yourself, and bow your heads and just say a short prayer to my Father, to your God, and we'll leave his soul in the hollow of God's hand after that moment. Okay, that's about as religious as we're going to get here today. Thank you. My father was the F man. I don't mean F in that sense. He was for love. He was for laughter. He was for life. He was for equality. He was for liberty. And he was for legacy. For life, which you now know flies by very rapidly. Although I got to tell you, in my father's case, it was not the years in his life, it was the life in his years. He lived 2 for every 1 we do. So he's not 85, he's 190. Just relax in a moment. Picture this. This man was born and lived when the British Empire was in its heyday. He went off to India at the age of 2 and took a ship across and stopped at every port along the way. India was part of the British Empire. When he got there, the world was a whole lot different than we see it today. Those people were out there, my grandfather, his father, serving the military on the edges of the British Empire. He was born in little army barracks in Colchester, England, from two Irish people that just immigrated to England 2 years earlier. He had a sister born prior, their Auntie Jean? Or should we call her Ethel? Her real name was Ethel, she didn't like it, so she changed it to Jean. My father loved to call her, hiya. She was born in Dublin before they went across, and then his sister, that's her daughter over there. And then his next sister came along, Kathleen, when he was in Colchester as well, and her daughter Susan is here. And then he had another sister come along before they left for India, and one more born in India, Auntie Eileen and Auntie Pam, who sadly aren't with us today, and none of their children could sadly make it because I screwed up by being late to dinner. Anyway, he went to school. He went to England until he was about 10 years old, then came back to Balham, England. And he made some headlines when he came back in the local paper. They called him the boy detective. All right? The story goes, this is his story, on Streatham Common, somebody had stolen a bike. He found it and returned it. And so he got his name in the paper being the local boy detective. My theory is he got conscience. He had a conscience. I'll give it back and get some glory for doing it. You make up your own mind. You know, one late day in the fall day in 1940, during the Blitz of when they were bombing the hell out of Britain, his father, Regimental Sergeant Major Charlie Flynn, was at home on leave. The sirens went off. The German bombing blitz of London was upon him at 24 Foxburn Road. My grandmother, Auntie Peggy, was dashing around getting all the kids ready to go in the underground. She pleaded with my grandfather to come down, and my grandfather's answer was, if a sergeant major starts hiding in the underground, Hitler will have won this war. And he sat there with his bottle of Guinness, and every bomb rattled that Guinness, and he would not move from that table. My father looked at this and said, one day I'm going to join my father in that fight. Auntie Peggy told me the story many times around that kitchen table, 24 Foxburn. And she liked the wee nips, and she tended to repeat herself. I mean, many times. She said to me, Dumpling, your father sat right over there, Dumpling, and he said to me, I won't eat, Mom, not unless you sign these papers so I can go. He was 17 years of age. So you sign these so I can go to war. And she said, but your father would kill me, Charlie, please. Oh, Charlie, I couldn't, your father would kill me. Oh, I won't eat. She said, he wouldn't. So I signed the papers. And then the very next day, May the 5th, 1943, a 17-year-old young boy went down and signed up to go and fight that war in Germany and France. That's an amazing feat in my mind. 17 years of age. I'm a little older than that. And I can't fight wars because I'm allergic to lead. Bullets hit me, I'd die. But that was a brave young man. His best friend at the time was my Uncle Norman, and his two daughters are here. And he signed up to go away to war, and he insisted he had to go with him. He'd been there for a while already. Actually, probably, Uncle Norman's probably up there with him right now. Saying, you know, Charlie boy, mind you, Charlie, too bad. Look at them all. Look at Chaplin, Norman, Milton, David and Dale. Good bunch of kids, really, Charlie. You know, but one question: nobody sang a song. Nobody sing a song. My father would say, Norman, my children aren't singers; they're fiddlers. You know, 1945, the war ended. They had V-Day, June 7th in the Commonwealth, and we're part of the Commonwealth, June 8th in most of the world. And he went off, he stayed in the army, went off to Burma, Singapore, Hong Kong, and other parts of the British Empire. And my father served his country well as a young man. He went and fought that, and a lot of us, we have a lot of the freedoms we had today because of him and millions of men like him. I'd like to call upon my son, Sean, who's here today in uniform. I'd like my son, Sean, to tell me what he thinks of his grandfather.
I'd like all the grandkids to stand with me if they would.
Hey, 10, jump!
There's a hero on deck.
My father left the army. And 6 months later, he joined my Uncle Norman in business. And they worked hard. They fiddled. I mean, they did legitimate business. And by the summer of 1948, they went on. There was a typical Flynn family party all together. I think every third person is a Flynn. And they were all together. There's so many of us, my God. They were all together. And there was, I think, Susan and her father Frank. Sorry, your mother Kathleen. You've been a bit young to be there. Your mother Kathleen. Uncle Norman was there, Sybil, everybody. And Huey was there with my mother Renee. And my father was there with her Aunt Sybil. And she'd been invited along by her Aunt Sybil, who was about her age. Kind of strange having an aunt the same age as your mom. Right, Lisa? That's the night he met. He was with Susan's other sister that day, and sorry, Sharon's sister and Susan's sister that day in Bognor Regis. He went on a train ride and then a hayride that night on the waterfront, and he met his lovely Reed. And from that day, for 63 years, it would have been this year, that man never looked sideways. He fell in love and he took care of my mother like no man on this planet has ever cared in taking care of a woman. He drove her everywhere, he took her everywhere, he loved her every day. And the only reason he wanted to live a little bit longer so he could take care of her. Mom, don't worry, we're all going to do that for him. They got married December 3rd, 1948, and his best man was Uncle Norman. Keeps popping in the picture. The entire Flynn family was at St. Anselm Church. You know, December 3rd. 4th. Did I say 3rd? 4th. That's a Freudian slip. I'll tell you why later. Anyway, in 1955, yeah, you got married the same day. I told you I was tired, didn't I? Didn't I get sound tired? I think she got to pick on me. One mistake. That's true, you're a lot older than me. Anyway, in 1955 at Mooney's Pub, my dad decided with Uncle Norman to immigrate. Did you know this, by the way, girls? They were going to immigrate to Australia. They got drunk, went and signed the papers. Immigrated to Australia. You'd be saying today, put another shrimp on the bobby. But they sobered up and came to Canada. He came here in 1956 on February 29th, and he became Nostradamus that year. Because for the rest of his life, everything that happened in the world, Reed, I told you in 1956, you'd have a black president. Reed, I told you in 1956, the man would step on the moon. In 1957, he lost that town. 1956, he knew everything. Reed, I told 19, they have cars like this, right? Everything from 1956. You know, my father came here and he joined the Canadian Air Force. And he became known as Half-Day Charlie, which meant he wasn't the hardest working man in the Air Force. And one day in Germany, I called up his boss, and I said to him, Colonel Edwardson, I was calling my dad, actually. I said, where's Dad going to go for a drink? Small one. You're not going to cut me too, are you? I can't read the cue cards. Stronger glasses. Colonel. 9 months makes a lot of difference. Anyway, I said to Colonel, can I talk to my dad, Smallwood? Can I talk to my father? It's Friday night, I don't know where he's going for a drink. He said, it's in June. He said, don't be an idiot. Get over here to celebrate your father's birthday. My dad's birthday's October 24th. All I heard was, Charlie, you son of a bitch. And then for an early drink. One time he was in Edgar and he went running to Digger Myers. You remember Digger Myers? Major Myers? Went running in there and he said to him, "Sir, I've got to go. My wife's having a baby." 1959, he runs out. Comes back the next day, Digger says, well, did he shat? He said, sir, it takes 9 months. 9 months later, David was born. We moved to up to a place called Prague, Quebec after that, and along came Dale. That was an exciting night from Dale. If you guys think he's quick now, he doesn't slow down. My dad picked up the phone. He says, send an ambulance. My wife's having a baby. Never mind. all I heard from the top of the stairs, bye. Anyway, Dale was a blue baby because he took him outside at -6 and he turned. My father left the army. And 6 months later, he joined my Uncle Norman in business. And they worked hard. They did legitimate business. And by the summer of 1948, they went on. There was a typical Flynn family party all together. I think every third person these days are Flynn. And they were all together. There's so many of us, my God. They were all together. And there was, I think, Susan and her father Frank. Sorry, your mother Kathleen. You've been a bit young to be there. Your mother Kathleen. Uncle Norman was there, Sybil, everybody. And Huey was there with my mother Renee. And my father was there with her Aunt Sybil. And she'd been invited along by her Aunt Sybil, who was about her age. Kind of strange having an aunt the same age as your mom. Right, Sybil? That's the night he met. He was with Susan's other sister that day, and Sharon's sister and Susan's sister that day in Bognor Regis. He went on a train ride and then a hay ride that night on the waterfront, and he met his lovely Reed. And from that day, for 63 years, it would have been this year, that man never looked sideways. He fell in love and he took care of my mother as no man on this planet has ever cared in taking care of a woman. He drove her everywhere, he took her everywhere, he loved her every day. And the only reason he wanted to live a little bit longer so he could take care of her. Mom, don't worry, we're all going to do that for him. They got married December 3rd, 1948, and his best man was Uncle Norman. He popped in the picture. The entire Flynn family was at St. Anselm Church. You know, December 3rd. 4th. Did I say 3rd? 4th. That's a Freudian slip. I'll tell you why later. Anyway, in 1955, yeah, you got married the same day. I told you I was tired, didn't I? Didn't I get to say I was tired? I think she got to pick on me. One mistake. That's true, you're a lot older than me. Anyway, in 1955 at Mooney's Pub, my dad decided with Uncle Norman to immigrate. Did you know this, by the way, girls? They were going to immigrate to Australia. They got drunk, went and signed the papers. Immigrate to Australia. You'd be saying today, put another shrimp on the bobby. But they sobered up and came to Canada. He came here in 1956 on February 29th, and he became Nostradamus that year. Because for the rest of his life, everything that happened in the world, Reed, I told you in 1956, you'd have a black president. Reed, I told you in 1956, the man would step on the moon. In 1957, he lost that town. 1956, he knew everything. Reed, I told 19, they have cars like this, right? Everything from 1956. You know, my father came here and he joined the Canadian Air Force. And he became known as Half-Day Charlie, which meant he wasn't the hardest working man in the Air Force. And one day in Germany, I called up his boss, and I said to him, Colonel Edwardson, I was calling my dad, actually. I said, where's Dad going to go for a drink? Small one. You're not going to cut me too, are you? I can't read the cue cards. Stronger glasses. Colonel. 9 months makes a lot of difference. Anyway, I said to Colonel, can I talk to my dad, Smallwood? Can I talk to my father? It's Friday night, I don't know he's going for a drink. He said, it's in June. He said, don't be an idiot. Get over here and celebrate your father's birthday. My dad's birthday's October 24th. All I heard was, Charlie, you son of a bitch! And then for an early drink. One time he was in headgear and he went running to Digger Myers. Mom, you remember Digger Myers? Major Myers? Went running in there and he said to him, Sir, I've got to go. My wife's having a baby. 1959. He runs out. He comes back the next day. Digger says, well, what did he shab? He said, sir, it takes 9 months. 9 months later, David was born. We moved to up to a place called Prague, Quebec after that, and along came Dale. That was an exciting night from Dale. If you guys think he's quick now, he doesn't slow down. My dad picked up the phone. He says, send an ambulance. My wife's having a baby. Never mind. all I heard from the top of the stairs, bye. Anyway, Dale was a blue baby because they took him outside at -6 and he turned blue. We moved to Sydney, Nova Scotia in 1962. Someone equip me? And as we moved there, we sped down the highway, and there was a sign. My dad could keep the river on this side. And I said to my dad, you missed the turn, Dad. I don't need some kid telling me how to drive. Kept going. 80 miles later, Ring, I've gone the wrong way. Now, I was smart enough not to say one word. Milton said, Charles told you. Wow. He never corrected my father again. No. When Norman was born, we didn't have much money, guys. We had 6 kids in a 2-bedroom house. Norman slept with my parents. Now you know he was the last kid. Anyway, we moved there, Laxton and Denny. We moved to Quebec, right? 1964. And my father decided he was going to learn French. And he went to French class. And did he learn French? For the rest of his life, all he could say is, où est la bibliothèque?
Where's the library?
30 years. Où est la bibliothèque? Got lost. Où est la bibliothèque? Wanted to drink. Où est la bibliothèque? It wouldn't be hard. Où est la bibliothèque? I remember we went to Large Germany later on. And in Germany, he got a little bit more persnickety as he got older. I remember sitting him one night when he had a Guinness, and he says to the waitress in Germany, he says, could you put a shot of whiskey in my Guinness? And she said, shot of whiskey in a Guinness? I suppose so, sir. Why? Because you can put a shot of whiskey and it's not bloody full, is it? You know, he came back to Trenton, and my dad was such a family man. Every Friday or Saturday he'd call up, he'd say to Reen, I want the kids around me. He'd call up me, he'd say, Charles, can you come over for a drink? Sure, Dad. Someone say, call back, Josh, could you stop by liquor store? He'd call up Mel, could you come over for a drink? Sure, Dad. Phone back, Mel, could you bring some ice? Call up David. David, could you come? Could you bring lemons? Dale, could you or Norman please get some soda? He'd say, Ring, I don't care what it costs me. I love having them together. No, but in a serious note, my father was a man who believed in equality and liberty for everyone, and he really believed this. You know, he saw the color of man's soul, never the color of man's skin. Never the accent you had, or your size, your IQ, or your wealth. He walked with royalty and would never lose a common touch. Every person on this planet, every person interested in him. And he joined the Masons in Germany, and he joined it because his Uncle Norman and talked him into it because he enjoyed the Masons. And when he joined them, he then introduced a friend of his who happened to be black to the Masons, not realizing the Masons did not accept blacks. Well, my father was a bit of a fighter, and his friend, Bucky Talbot, became a Mason. Because my father wouldn't have it any other way. Either he joined or he would leave it. You know, everybody that he saw the good in them. And he fought for that good, and it broke his heart that he couldn't do something to change it. Their lives, and everybody's lives were better. You know, he used to always say, never trust a man that doesn't drink. I think what he meant to say is trust a man that does drink more. It's your grandfather, your father likes to drink. You know, one of his favorite sayings when he got drinking was, it's a very nice saying and it's a beautiful thought. He'd look at you and he'd say, whoever he was with, he'd say, you know, Cease, you're a nice guy. Everybody loves you. You're just like me. Those places in Trenton, they become like adjectives in our language. You know, 24 Foxford, 18 Conley. It's just part of our life we'll never forget and always cherish. You know, one thing we call it, you know, the Conley era, or Milton refers to it as the black dye era. So my mother and father were so cheap, they shared the same black dye with their hair. It looked like a cross between somebody from Kiss and the Addams Family. My father didn't want anybody to know. He comes home one day, he says, Ring! I think that lady at the store fancies me. She wouldn't stop smiling and looking at me. My mother said, look in the mirror, dear. He had lines of black dye on him. That was the day my father turned gray. You know, his friends were all frequent visitors at his welcoming bar. Blackie Lidstone, Bucky Talbot, to name two. Bucky was the black guy I told you about, and quite sensitive for some reason about it. Maybe because it stopped him from joining Masons, I don't know. But he didn't like it, people talking about it. My mother, God bless her, sometimes got a bit confused. I'll never forget the day Bucky Talbot comes to the door, and she was thinking of, she says, come on in, Blackie. We had another guy at Trenton that we didn't like our family very much. His name was Roger Dingman. Dan remembers. We used to call him Dingbat because he was a local detective. And he used to chair his catch in one of the Flynn boys and doing something wrong. I remember one night he caught me driving home after a few. Oh God, I'm in trouble. He comes to the side of the door, he says, I'm not going to do anything. Why? Your brother just smashed up your car. like something out of that. What do you have that show with that big tall guy with the anyway, Faulty Towers? Your brother just smashed up your car. It cost you a fortune. Have a nice night. Anyway, he came later. My mother, God bless her, she didn't know. We call him Dingbat. He comes to our house to serve summons. She says, "Come in, Officer Dingbat." And one thing about my parents back in Conley in the black dye period, Mel, they loved to dance. My dad and mom. Did anybody ever see them dance?
Yes.
Anybody not see them dance? Hands up. Did you see them dance?
Yes.
Oh, you missed it, guys. They were professional. And my dad taught dance when he was. They were really good dancers. And my dad loved to dance. So Dale, loving his father a lot, decided one day to give him a little auxiliary. He put some caffeine pills, referred to as beanies, in his tea that morning. Dance. 18 hours later, they were even doing the chitter butter. She went through 3 pairs of shoes. He just took her right. Still wouldn't stop. Reed, come on, one more!
Oh my God.
You know, the night, 3 pairs of shoes that day, remember? The night he met Debbie was very impressive. Milton and Debbie were sitting downstairs at my parents' house watching TV. That's what Milton had to believe. I came downstairs because he heard some noise while they were watching TV. I was something on TV. Raccoon in the backyard. God, who knows what was going on. He comes downstairs, search it out, and he didn't. He used to like walk around the house naked. He'd always walk. My friends would come in. He walks downstairs. He meets my father for his first time. Bare bald naked. I said to him later, I said, Dad, she said you had small balls. He said, big enough to make you. Last time I talked about the size of them. You know, many strangers came into that house at 18 Conley. I met a guy in Detroit airport, for goodness sakes, great big tall Australian guy, Cameron Curfew. We all know him, right? Big tall Cameron. You know, I meet him in Detroit airport. He's going up. I said, you got to call my dad. My dad and David go and pick him up at the airport, take him back to 18 Conley, stays there. My dad then sends him off to England to stay at Uncle Norman's house. I mean, this is my father. Many, many strangers went into that basement, but everybody left a friend. No strangers ever left it. You know, to my dad, strangers were only friends he hadn't made yet. You know, it was amazing for me and my mother to go up with him last trip in Victoria, BC. She said to him, and I said, Dad, don't ask this person where they're from, please. No, because he would ask everybody where they were from. And of course he does. And we're walking the street in Victoria. These two guys are looking for somewhere to drink. The bars were, and we're walking back to the hotel, and we're tired. He said, "Hi, where are you boys from?" The guy says, "Oh, we're at Esquimalt, sir." The guy said, "Military." He said, "I was a military guy." "Really, sir?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "I'm a military historian." My dad told him the stories. They started talking about D-Day and the whole military thing. And this guy said, "Sir," and I shake your hand. I always wanted to meet someone that had been there. And he shook his hand on that street. And then I said to my dad, "Please, Dad, don't bring him back to our hotel room." But of course he told him our name. He knew where we were staying. All night long, we waited for that door to get knocked on. The guys come looking for a drink with my dad. They didn't. I got up the next morning, and at the front desk, the guy says to me, "Mr. Flynn." "Yeah." He says, "I got an envelope for you." I said, "Oh, thanks." I look at it, but it said Flynn Senior. And I had my son with me, but I'm still not senior. So I said, "Dad, I think it's for you." He opens it up, and there was a card, and it said, "Thanks for being one of our heroes." And there was $20 in it. Have a drink on us. And my dad had tears in it, really got tears in his eyes, all teary about it. And it's strange to do that for him. And I'll tell you what a hero he is. He took that $20 without saying a word. He flipped it to my son and said, "Son, have a drink on me." That's the type of man he was. Generous, caring, loving. You know, he was like one of my personal heroes. My dad, our dad, would look, saw the world not as it is, and asked why, but he saw the world the way it could be, and he asked why not. He had love, laughter, liberty, quality, and his legacy. You know, we talk of, you know, Winston Churchill, Michael Jordan, Clint Eastwood, Frank Sinatra, and ask what they think of the legacy. They're all the modern day famous people. While I'm staring at my father's, and to me it far outstrips theirs. His legacy is his daughter Jacqueline, always there for her family. His 5 boys, Milt, a very good father. David, one of the hardest workers you'll ever meet in your life. Dale, a great addition to any community. Norman, dedicated, loyal, always so gentle. His 16 grandchildren, J.D., Christina, Michael, Mark, Christopher, Shalene, Karina. I made those names up. Sean, Shane, Chad, Kyle, Caden, and Kieran. His great-grandchildren. We only have one Tay, I did it right. Caleb. Sorry, we have 2 here. Caleb. We had 3, didn't we?
One disappeared.
Dave, we had 3.
Dave's baby. Oh, baby's baby.
Or there's 3 here. I was right. You were wrong this time. His daughter-in-laws, his sons-in-laws, his nieces, his nephews, his friends. You know, the way Ingersoll, you know, I got to thank you people. My father just came here a short time ago. the way all of you took him into his heart, the way all of you are here today for him, not to listen to this speech. The way you're all here to show him your love today. Really, Ingersoll, I mean, it's a community that anybody's got to be proud to be part of. You know, and thank God. All I can say is thank God. Thank God Almighty that Tracy and Dale were here for my father. You know, thank God they were here for my father and my mother, actually, to take care of them when they needed it. You know, it's not easy taking care of elderly people. Ask Lisa.
Oh my God. That's nice, Dad.
But they did it. And you know, my dad at times, there was good times too. I mean, come on. I mean, he could be loud. He could be explosive. I mean, when you walked into Dino's and said, "Are you a virgin?" 3 nuns in a convent 60 miles away fainted. That man could make it, he could fill any room he walked into. He made his presence felt. But his legacy will go on forever and ever. You know, his kindness, his love, his boldness, his integrity, his hope for everybody for a better life. His positive thoughts upon everyone on this planet. And the legacy of such beautiful people surrounding him to tell the stories of Charles Elmer Flynn, MMM, CD, forever, and pass them down. To me, that's a legacy. You're all great. You're all a lot like me. Everybody loves you. I love you, Dad. Thank you. Let's have a drink.
I'm with you.